Welcome to the Nourish and Restore podcast with Nina and me, Nicole, where we bring all things nourishing and restorative to you, your body, mind, and soul. A chance for you to enjoy simple tools to help you live a happier, healthier, and more peaceful life. Join our conversation as we explore our interesting theme for today. Welcome, everybody. Hello from me, Nicole Angelika Panzer, and my lovely co-host, Nina Nicole. I always wanted to have these trumpets, and here she is. Cool. Welcome, everybody, to our episode for this month, being December. Yeah, I can't believe it's that time of year already.
I know.
I can't believe we're in December and Christmas is coming up and New Year, and then the whole year 2022 is gone again, like all the other years before.
I love it.
So
I love it, Nicole.
How was your previous month? How was November for you, Nina?
November was interesting, I would say. Anyway, good morning, first of all. Good to see you. And good to see everyone else as
straight
well.
in there.
We'll go straight into it. November was interesting. November for me was a month where I was doing, it was the month of like navigating a healing crisis.
Exactly.
And you know how sometimes we do these things or we go through life and we're feeling good and we're feeling strong and we're like, I can't really relate to this work because I've kind of like stepped past it or over it a little. And then kind of like you think, well, it's a body of work that is really helpful for others to navigate or hear about or learn about. And you put it out there and then all of a sudden, bam, you yourself sink into a healing crisis. And I was
knocks on your door.
Okay. It's so nice just to like have the protocols in place to know what I needed to do. It wasn't like a major upset to the system. I could just kind of like ride the wave. So it was really nice to actually be reminded of like what we can do, that we can be proactive, that we can like be empowered about what to do. So yeah, it was an interesting month. I didn't quite think I would go into like a mini little healing crisis. Everyone can probably might have heard about that in the second week lecture or podcast that I shared. But yes, we're out, we're through it, and we are now excited to exploring your month, December. And like this is where we're now going to go a little deeper inwards.
Yeah, I just thought, having done listening to our body and the signs of our body, then, very beautifully moving into that whole healing crisis and how to navigate your healing crisis. And for me, I also feel, December is a month where, especially in the South, it's the end of the school year. It's all the Christmas parties, and for the parents having to we all want to and we love it, going to all the concerts and everything, but it does get very strenuous on the body. So I've decided to do the topic for this month, moving inwards, but concentrating on stress and anxiety management by moving inwards. So I'm super excited to explore some tools there with everybody, and just to remind everyone, you're able to take a step back, you're able to say no to certain things, and you're absolutely allowed to take time out for yourself, so that you don't go into overload and overwhelm. Yeah.
I mean, I think like you and like most of our listeners as well, we all have kind of like this way about us that we want to be, but life happens and certain problems kick in. What do you find are like, I mean, you've already noted some with regards to like, if you're a mom and there's school issues coming up, and end of year functions, but kind of like, what are you also noticing that come up every year that cause such problems for people over this December period that kind of just spiral them out, and they end up going way out instead of looking within.
Yeah, way in. I think the biggest thing is that I've noticed from clients, and also my previous experience when I was still in the proper office working environment is end of year stuff, closing off, needing to reach targets and goals, and closing off the year 2022 so that you can go on holiday with the family. And step back into everything with a good conscience in 2023. But I think often also it's just that overwhelm of overextending yourself, there's so much that comes up in December for you to do, whether you've said that you'll help at this party or you'll help at that organization. And in hindsight, yes, I know we all do it with a good heart, but at the end of the day, we do need to learn our limits, and we need to honor those limits, and take a couple of steps back. But I think mostly it's the exterior pressure. And that being the reason why moving inwards is so important, because that's kind of where you find your inner boundaries, and what's safe for you, and then when do I know that I just need to actually pull the reins back a little bit.
Yeah, I love what you're saying, because it's so important, and you kind of like touched on it a moment ago, and I just want to delve a little deeper into it because I think it's so important. But like, if we, and I'll put like people and our listeners, don't actually pause and stop and maybe take time to listen to the podcast, what is like at stake? Like, if they let all of this nonsense kind of get busy with them, like what is at stake here?
Jeez, a complete whirlwind, out of control, days in bed because you're not feeling well, your body is completely overridden itself, and in hindsight then it's just really everything's catapulting and exploding in all different directions. And what happens then is that you actually don't get to enjoy any of the amazing festivities, because then you're out. Maybe the kind of fatigue has come back. Exactly. Maybe that's come back. Maybe any other aches and pains have come back. So now you're experiencing everything in pain and out of complete depletion. So let's not go there.
It probably means like you end up popping more pills, or like a headache pill for this, or like, a gas bloating pill for this, or maybe, upping your anxiety meds or whatever it is. I think like that often happens in December because there is, like you're saying, so much stress or anxiety about what's going on. And actually, if kind of like we just listen in and like listen to all the help and support and tips and advice that you're going to be sharing this month, I think that is such a good action step to actually take, to just be more in ease. I mean, like, so if they are good, people are going to like listen in and do these things, like how are they going to, what is their December going to look like for them?
Well, that's what I was just going to tap into. It's amazing because you can either go into it kind of doing exactly what you said. I know I'm going to go out, so I'm going to have these liver tablets ready, and I'm going to have these headache tablets for the next morning. But if you do that through the whole of December, what's January going to look like? You're going to end up crashing in January. Then what's going to happen is people are going to want to do detoxes. And it's just too much of a high, too much of a crash, too much of a intensity of all of it, So by really allowing yourself to move into the month with a clear conscience for yourself, for your body, your mind, your capacity, you'll be able to really, as smoothly as possible, ride through that month into the new year. And for me personally, I don't think that there's a more beautiful way of crossing from one year into the other, transitioning from 2022 into 2023. Even if it is going to be a wild party, let's party it, let's celebrate it, but let's do so with a full tank, and a healthy body and mind. Yeah.
I think that's so nice. It's kind of like you want to enter 2023 on that full tank. You just want to have energy. You don't want to be depleted. You don't want to be tired. You don't want to be annoyed. You don't want to be frustrated. You don't want to be angry. You don't want to blah, 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 blah. On and on and on. But you really do want it like a good fresh year, like being in the positive and being kind of like, having the right foot forward, stepping into. I mean, that's what I love about kind of like in Germany, man springt immer ins neue Jahr rein, kind of like you're jumping into the new year, and that's really what you want to do, hey?
Yeah. Well, it is very different over here. It's in the north. We are forced to go inwards, because it's dark. The time changed. I mean, that time change really messed with me like you won't believe, and having moved back into that and doing the meridian massage just to get me back on track again was just phenomenal. And now the sun is setting at 5 o'clock in the evening, so there is so much time for reflection and so much time for moving inwards. And even with the families, people are starting to bake Christmas cookies, and so it is a much slower pace than doing so in the Southern Hemisphere, where it's summer, everyone's out, everyone's, which is great. It's absolutely amazing too. But just to do so with a little bit more caution and a little bit more awareness.
Yeah. Love it. I am super excited about this month. I think it's going to be a fabulous one. I know our listeners are going to enjoy it as well, because you always have such beautiful ideas and tips and wisdom that you share so wholeheartedly. You don't hold back, which is so fantastic, which is great. So I'm excited to hear what we're going to be getting up to. So
let's see. Yeah. Thank you.
Let's see.
Thank you. Riding off the back of how the healing crisis works, I think it's perfect, because clients can really jump back and forth, how to listen to your body, how does the healing crisis work, all the amazing tips and tricks that you've been sharing, which are so good for our toolbox. And yes, and then ending up with a nice, calm, collected December, we hope. Let's see.
Exactly. Yeah. And just stepping into the new year with a sense of ease and clarity. I think that's it.
I like the
there's
sound
not
of
this
that.
distraction around us.
Sounds beautiful.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely, my friend. Always lovely to connect with you. Thank you so much. And look forward to catching up with you in our next one.
You too. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Stay tuned, and we're sending so much love. Mwah. Ciao for now. Thank you for listening to Nourish and Restore podcasts today. To find out more about Nourish and Restore, visit our website or Facebook page, nourishandrestore.yoga. For more information on working with Nina Sachs, visit www.yogaa.co.za. And to work with me, Nicole Angelika Panzer, visit www.lov-me.com. Links will be in the show notes. We look forward to catching up with you next week. Namaste and have a nourishing day.